Good afternoon, Harlem and Harlems of the world. This is Harlem Network News, and I am Terri Wisdom, and I am coming to you live. It is a great day in Harlem, as it is every day, but it's also a sad day and also a prayerful day. On last Friday, January 5th, my son, my SUN, my world, he went on to be with the ancestors, and he was cut down uh, due to gun violence on the Shinnecock Reservation. So today we are going to have a conversation because let his life not be in vain. He grew up in Harlem. He spent time in Sag Harbor and was basically a family member on the Shinnecock Reservation. So he had many connections, and we do want to say all my relations. But we're here to honor my son, Ali Wisdom, and his life, and all of our ancestors. And we are also here to stand for change. This is our community. Harlem Network News is a new media platform that we started at the onset of COVID. And the purpose was so that our community could get information, because often they don't get the information out, or if they do, they get it wrong. So more importantly, this has come home. I'm a community activist, and I've been active pushing back on everything. But now this is personal, and it's always been personal. So I have here members of the Shinnecock Nation, which is in South Hampton, standing with me. My brother is here. We have Diashawa, who is also here, who runs the Shinnecock Boys and Girls Club. We have Brother Harold, Sister Viola, and we do have one other member, and I'm not sure, they're not showing their face, but it's okay. It's all okay. So I would like one of you to just give some background on the Shinnecock Nation. We want to make sure, because often we don't know our history because it's not in our schools, and they want to make sure we don't know our history. So can someone just share, where is the Shinnecock Nation? What is the significance of it? And just let us know a little bit about it so people can know where we're talking about it. Okay, thank you. Who would like to share? Okay, Diashawa, would you like to?
Yes, I'll share. Okay. Oh, Viola's got her hand raised. Go ahead, Viola.
Okay, go ahead, Viola. Thank you so much. Identify yourself and let us know what your connection is to the Shinnecock Nation. And this is our time. So let the world know, who is the Shinnecock Nation? When was it formed? Where is it? And what are the most significant and beautiful things about the Shinnecock Nation? Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. My name is Viola Cause. I am a Shinnecock tribal member. So in 1640, roughly as it is written, the Puritans came down out of Massachusetts and so-called discovered this area of Long Island. The Shinnecock Indian Nation, also known as Shinnecock, which is one of the oldest ways of saying it, and then the original way of saying it, Ashinak Oake, all of the people of this land. We're a nation of people still on our Aboriginal territory. We are surrounded by what developed and became the Hamptons, such as South Hampton, Hampton Bays, Amagansett. These are all Hampton names. Our ancestors have always been here on Long Island, in New York, and we have never stopped the fight to be who we are and live within our territory. We have shared resources with the colonizers, with the explorers, because those are different time points. And we now are roughly on about 800 acres of miles and miles of territory that was literally just taken away. Lots of injustices and also lots of agreements that were they were just unjust. Our community, some things that I love about the history and some things that I love about our community right now and where I see our future going is that we're always creative. We're always creative. Our people, historically, we basically put whaling and whale oil on the map. We have always been a people of both the land and the water and respected in that manner for that. We've always been known for our hospitality. And it's, you know, what we have now today and for our future, it's a beautiful place. And I see a lot of young little people growing up and learning some of the older ways and learning about their environment and how to care for it. I see that there's some confusion, not just in our community, but in a lot of communities. Some confusion of culture, some misuse of things that are out there. And I see that in my community or our community. I see that in other indigenous or tribal communities. And I see that just around the world. I appreciate you, Terry, and I appreciate you, Uncle Dung, for doing these things and having this broadcast live and putting this information out there. And it is heartbreaking, sad, it's disappointing. And Terry, you know, I feel for you.
Thank you.
And I love you.
Love you too. Love you back.
Dayashwa might want to give some more of the history or some significance, and she's working with the kids and teaching the kids these things, teaching the kids about values, some things that we don't think about, no matter what community, tribe, culture. We always try to think of how to bring our culture and the value into the future. And I think it's so important for all of us to think through these things and bring it forward, bring the good stuff forward so that we can work our way through, whether it's African communities, whether it's Native communities, Irish communities. We need to be able to show the youth that there's goodness. We need to be able to give them hope and foundation that they can grow from and they can continue. But I thank you again. That's all I got to say right now. I appreciate you.
Okay, well, thank you, Viola, for sharing. And that was Viola of the Shinnecock Nation. And we basically are here to honor my son, Ali Wisdom, also known as Columbo The Shining Star, that was cut down on last Friday, the 5th, on the Shinnecock Reservation. And it's a significant circumstance. This is Harlem Network News, and I'm Terri Wisdom, and I felt compelled, you know, at this point, I cannot grieve. We all must stand. You know, that's what this is. It's a war. I'm a warrior, and I'm out here. Okay, I am out here. And my son died to save us all, to make change for us all. And that is really what we have to do with it, because this is bigger than him. This is about all of us. And as you know, Harlem Network News, we're a new media platform. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Clubhouse, Twitter, and soon to be on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. And really and truly, we share and we bring the information and we stay connected to the community. We are community activists. And so something like this happening to my son is personal, but it's about the broader community. We reach out to what we call the Harlems and the Harlems of the world. You know, Harlem is a mecca of Black culture and connectedness, but it's all about all of us as Indigenous people. So there's a connection to Shinnecock. There's a Harlem to the Hamptons connection. There's a lot of history of Native and African people on the East End. So I'm going to let Diashua speak and add, you know, what she has to say, as she is the director of the official Boys and Girls Club on the Shinnecock Reservation. And we had spoken about Diashua coming on and talking, but we didn't know it was going to happen so soon. So it's a call to action and a call to stand strong. Thank you, Diashua.
Thank you, Terry. And again, my heart goes out to you. I know this is a difficult time for you, but you know, thank you for having this forum for us to be able to speak about what's going on in our community. As Viola said, the Shinnecock people, we have a very rich history. But along with that history, we have a lot of trauma that has come along with us still being here today. Our ancestors have been here on this land that we still live on today for over 10,000 years. But with that comes a lot of struggles and a lot of hardship. And unfortunately, our youth today have had to witness a lot of different things, you know, from domestic violence to shootings to drug raids, having to deal with their family members suffering from alcohol and drug addiction and mental illness, and then just grieving the loss of their loved ones who have died tragically. And all this has happened in a short period of time. A lot of this trauma stems from colonization. It just is what it is. Once, you know, these invaders came over here, they changed our way of life. And unfortunately, a lot of things have changed over the years, and there's been things that have trickled down generations, such as, you know, generational trauma, intergenerational trauma. We go back to, you know, mourning the loss of loved ones because of, you know, the murder and you know, the genocide that has happened. And then you go into the residential schools where they've tried to, you know, erase who we are completely. But we live in a time today where finally we have the freedom to practice our culture again. But unfortunately, our history has been broken up and you know, spread across, you know, the country, because like it's a puzzle, you know, so we have to pick up those pieces and put our story back together and kind of understand why we are where we are today. There's a lot of things, painful things that happened to our ancestors that our ancestors didn't want to share with us because they were too painful. Now we come, you know, now we're living in a time where we're aware of these things, but now we understand that there's a need for us to talk about the hard things because it helps us heal. All of those things that our ancestors went through are very unfortunate, but they have to be discussed because they help us not repeat the same mistakes that happened before us. So the whole purpose of having a Boys and Girls Club on Shinnecock is to really uplift and empower our youth and have them understand who they are as Shinnecock people. Because as Viola was saying, there is a loss, there's confusion going on, there's an identity crisis. We don't, you know, a lot of our kids don't understand, you know, what's going on, what's happening. The world is changing because of technology, and even though there's some good things that come out of technology, it can be a distraction as well. Like, this is a beautiful thing that has come out of technology. We're able to have these conversations and we're able to connect with each other without being in the same room. It's very convenient, but at the same time, there is a loss that comes with being a part of this new world that we live in, that is consumed by, you know, instant gratification and constantly running and you know, rushing to the next event and being stressed out. and us not really taking a moment to pause and really reflect on the blessings that we have today. You know, just being able to go outside and say, wow, you know, we still live on this land that our ancestors used to live on 10,000 plus years ago. You know, we still have this connection to the land, and it's beautiful. And I thank the Creator for allowing us to still be here. You know, so with us not taking those moments, you know, chaos tends to happen. So it's important for our kids to learn all of the important aspects of life so that they can adapt those things to their lives so they can be better people. You know, our ancestors had it right. You know, they talked about balance and sustainability and not wasting anything. You know, we talk about global warming that's happening right now, and it's affecting our communities and our traditional foods and our way of life. And it's difficult, and all these things are happening, it seems like, all at once, you know. And it's like, well, how do we even deal with this? How do we adapt to what's going on in our community and still remain strong and proud of who we are, and pass the knowledge that we have on to the next generation? You know, who's to say that they'll be interested in what's most important to Shinnecock people if we don't get them to pay attention to the little things. So, you know, with that being said, you know, I think it's just important for us to really pay attention to how the things that we do as adults affect our children. We really, really need to pay attention to them, and you realize that all the loss and the destruction and all the stuff that's going on right now really affects them. And I don't think we take enough time to really talk to them about how they feel about what's going on, you know, because honestly, it's hard for us to even process what's going on at this point.
Right.
But awareness is key. And it's just important that we really embrace our children and tell them it's okay. It's okay to cry. We have you. We'll do whatever we can to hold you up, because this is a difficult time that we're living in.
Okay, well, Diashua, thank you. And I am Terri Wisdom. This is Harlem Network News. And for those of you who are just joining us, Harlem Network News is a new media platform. And today we are here to honor the life of my son, Ali Wisdom, Columbo The Shining Star. He is from Harlem, but also from Sag Harbor and second home, Shinnecock Reservation. And last Friday, he was cut down on the reservation and a victim of gun violence. So we're here to stand, we're here to say, we're still here, we're not going anywhere, and we are fighting back. We're not expecting anybody else to help us with ours, we're gonna help our own. So I'm gonna go to my brother, and I would like us, which we did not start with prayer, but I wanted people to get some background and some understanding of where Shinnecock is and who Shinnecock is, and you know, all of that, and we can go further to that. So I want us to just have a brief prayer. This is my brother, Wayne Duncan, and he is the uncle of Ali Wisdom, and he is also one of the directors of the Youngblood Singers. So Wayne, if you would just give us a prayer and just share a bit about what you have to say, and then we will go to Uncle Harold. There are other people that are on. If you're able to show yourself, great. If you can't, that's okay too. And if you would like to speak, please unmute and speak. Please, Wayne, identify yourself and begin with prayer. And this is a prayer for Ali Wisdom in his transition and for all our ancestors and all our relations. Thank you.
Well, first of all, appreciate you having this forum. And before I even talk about prayer, the one thing that you're not identifying, that people know, the Ali Wisdom is Salagi, and he's from the Aniwahia clan, Wolf clan. That's really important. Why is it important? Because his whole life he identified to being in that circle, being in the arena as a traditional dancer and a fancy dancer, He went to ceremonies with us, traveled around the country with our drum group. And I have a brother on here right now. I believe he's on. I think Johnny Smith is on. He's medicine man. I'm a pipe carrier, so I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna yield and let him bring the prayer, and then I'm gonna go back because I have something I want to say. But Johnny, if you're there, just unmute yourself and show your face or something because I see a little white ball.
Okay. And I'm just going to interject because Harlem Network News, here knowledge is power, and I'm Terri Wisdom, and we want to make sure that everyone understands and knows what we're talking about. We are talking about the Shinnecock Nation, we are talking about the Cherokee Nation, and we are talking about prayer, spirituality, medicine. So I just want to make sure that everybody is clear and understands. Knowledge is power. So continue.
So Johnny, if that's not you, I think it's you. But if it's not you, if it is you, you're gonna come off mute. If it's not you, then I'm gonna yield it to a short prayer from Uncle Harold because he's an elder. He's a Salagi elder. He's a veteran, and he loved Ali. And he adopted my mom. They were brother and sister. They had that Cherokee adoption ceremony, and so Uncle Harold, I'm just gonna ask you to do that, and then I'm gonna say some words, and I'm gonna transition. I'm gonna be riding. I have to go to work in a few. So, Harold, if you don't mind, the elder.
I just want to say that the prayer, my nephew Wayne can speak pray more in the language of our people, but I can pray in the language that I can pray in. Is to say that I'm truly saddened by the loss of our young people by these means. Oh, Creator God, of all things on heaven and in the skies and in the universe, please give us the strength to persevere through these troubled times that we are living in. We have been confronted by these bad, wicked things for many years as indigenous people in this country, and that our blessings have been passed on to us by our ancestors because we are still here, like my beloved sister Terry said, and that so we continue to fight the good fight. We continue to go forward with clean hands and open heart and loving heart for our people here and for all the peoples of America, because that's why they are still here, because we opened up our hearts to them when they came here. And so Almighty Creator of all things, continue to bless us. And please, Creator, please help us protect our young people, because they are the ones that's going to bring forth and carry on our future and our family and our ways. I want to thank you again for giving me the opportunity, oh Creator, the breath of life to speak this morning or this evening. And I want to say thank you again, Wado, in the language, which means thank you in Cherokee. And I'd like to pass this on to my nephew, who is able to actually speak in the language and pray in the language. And Wayne, please carry on from there with me.
Yep, I appreciate y'all. That's the respect we have for our elders. He's a Navy veteran, and he's a very prominent figure in our arenas around the country of power. He's traditional dancer, and he always has that beacon of light. I have my nephew Terrell Terry's on here, and I know he probably got some words to say. I'm gonna say this, and it's really important. Remember, the Ali Wisdom, you know, he was like a protector. He was kind to elders. He loved little people, tried to encourage them. Matter of fact, he protected Wyatt Perkins, and when he went to Martin Luther King High School, Wyatt Perkins of Cherokee lived down in Lower East Side. His hair was long, so the kids in school used to tease him and harass him because he had a braid. And Ali just beat up the kids, bothering them. It's like every week he had to fight for Wyatt, and Wyatt comes, "Yo, Ali saved me again." So they had, he was a lot younger, but Wyatt was a character. He was Ali like he was just his older brother, you know, looked after him all the time. And that's the spirit that he was about. And the other side of the equation is that, you know, the thing that he shared with me, and this is really important for y'all to know, his last like in-depth conversation to me and him. He said, "Yo, Uncle, you know, I want you to know that all my uncles, including you, who I am is because of you guys." And he just went down the list. He was like, you know, he talked about the drum group, and he's like, Uncle Artie, Uncle Johnny, Uncle Watt T, Uncle Charlie, Uncle Dee Dee, Uncle Hiawatha. He just went down the list about 11 men or 12 men that impacted his life. And I just listened to him, and I was like, well, wow, man, like you're 43 and you remember all this. I remember everything. I remember going to Turtle Powwow, going up to Rhode Island, hanging out with my cousins in Narragansett. As soon as we get out the van, we just run around the grounds, and y'all couldn't find us. We up in the woods, and going down to the pond, and then get ready for dance, and going to jam out the power. So that was his best part of his life. He told me that. He personally told me that. He said that, you know, young blood is the society, and I'm part of it. And I, you know, and always remember that, you know, the original young blood singers, you were the foundation and helped us all. And, you know, so one joyful story is that all them kids were at the Turtle Powwow. We gave them a room. We gave them a hotel room for themselves. It was you know, Noel and Maya and Ali and Wayan and Ayana, like they were all in one room. And they ordered like $85 worth of pizza. We need some food. He dialed the phone and ordered pizza, and they put it on my tab, right? But that's what they just had a ball, and they enjoyed being able to go to powwows. You know, Ali was in Harlem, but he had a second auntie, Ellie Hunter, and Tree Hunter, and they ran the Title IV program. So Maya and Ali, after school, they go do beadwork, making moccasins. Looking forward to going to the McBurney's Y on 24th Street down the Lower East Side area. So that was part of his life. Like we would bring him home late from powwows every Monday and Thursday. You know, he got school Monday, so we'll be back on time, but he never got back on time. We always got back late.
Okay, so I'm gonna interject and thank you for sharing all those uplifting and light-filled.
But before you go, I think Terry wanted to say something. Terry, the other Terry.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm just doing an ID so people that join in know that this is Harlem Network News, and we're here with the Shinnecock Nation, and we're honoring our new ancestor, Ali Wisdom, who is my son, who was a victim of gun violence, and we're lifting him up. We're lifting all of us up, and we are standing firm, and we are standing together. So I will hand the mic. I'm going to pass the mic, and who's next going to speak? Terry?
Sure, I'll go. First, I'd like to start with the greeting of peace. And also would like to extend my condolences to you, Terry.
Thank you.
You know, and peace and mercy to the spirit of Ali Wisdom. You know, it's real tragic. And I think you know, what we're going through as a people, you know, Native Americans, African Americans, you know, I think a lack of understanding of, you know, the system that's at play is confusing the minds of a lot of people. And I'm speaking from example or from experience, you know, knowing Ali Wisdom's history, you know, and being grounded in a Native American pride and a Native American soul, and also acknowledging the African American blood and the African American history and the African American spirit, and having to live in this world and this system, oppression, systematic oppression, that's almost invisible today. You can't even see it hitting you. To have to dwell in this type of environment creates a lot of confusion in the minds and spirits of a lot of Native and Native American, African American men. And I think the fight that he was battling was a prideful one. And it's one that not many people can overcome. And I think that has to be understood, because the brother danced with pride. He held himself down with pride, but he was also challenged just like the rest of us. And we have to acknowledge the fact that the system, and when I say the system, I mean the experience of being confined, and in that confinement, being with yourself to understand who we are as African American, Native American, mixed individuals, would confuse the mind of anyone, but the pride still exists. And when that's not acknowledged by our own people, it becomes an isolated, lonely place. When people think they know, but they don't understand. People think they know what goes on with African American, Native American men in their minds, and they truly don't understand it. It's a dangerous place to be when people don't understand you. And it could be a lonely place, but I know that was a strong brother. And I know he was prideful. I know he was proud to be Shinnecock, to be Native. He was proud to be African American. He was just proud. And it's tragic that we don't pay more attention to our men and our young men today. It's tragic, because a lot of us are hurting. A lot of us want to fight, but we're confused. You know, and it's, you know, it's hurtful. This whole situation is, I've known Ali probably his whole life. I'm older than he is. The whole situation is bad. But to have this situation and several other situations of gun violence and overdoses and all of this stuff going on around us, and then people get up and move the next day like never happened, is out of control.
Okay.
So when you said
Preach,
that
tell
this,
it. Thank you.
it's just, you know, it's a lot going on, and I just, you know, I just hope my people, you know, because I'm Shinnecock, but I'm also African American as well, and I'm proud of all of the blood and DNA. You know, it makes me who I am. You know, but it's hard, and it's a challenge, and it's a fight. You know, and all I can say is, I'm so thankful that you said when you began that this death should not be in vain. And it really shouldn't, because people need to understand the person, and people need to understand the predicament that we live in today. And I'm going to end how I began, with peace.
Okay. I thank you very much, Terry. I thank you very much, because what you said is extremely, extremely, extremely profound. I'm Terri Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News, and we're here to honor the life of my son, who was cut down by gun violence on the Shinnecock Reservation. But we're also here to honor and uplift the Shinnecock Reservation. And as a media person, I can't even afford to grieve my own son. I cannot afford to do that, because it's a war, and I'm a warrior. Just even in terms of the media, South Hampton Press, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. How dare you come against my son, who has paid his debt to the society, has gone through what every Black man, most of them go through, because all the places of incarceration are filled with us, while our society makes money on our back, and we pay for it. So how dare you? Shame on you in terms of bastardizing the Shinnecock Reservation, which is the land that you live on. Shame on you. We don't accept it. We're going to speak out. And that's why there's a Harlem Network News. That is why. It is the pinnacle of why. So we can tell our own stories. And what Terry said about Native American, African American, what some of you may not know, because Ali had his Shinnecock life, he had his Harlem life, he had a world life, and he was a master African drummer, you know, who was part of a group that won several awards. He was a master African dancer as well, okay? He embraced it all, and he was powerful. And what you said about our powerful Black men, the struggle begins, okay? It begins when they're in kindergarten. As soon as they get out of unqueued, the whole society is coming for them and trying to take them down. So let's be clear about what it is. He's my son, and I have had to fight this battle all of his life, and he's had to fight it. You know, it's a society that is really set up to destroy us. We also must be very clear. This is Harlem Network News, and we're talking about the east end of Long Island, where the Shinnecock Reservation is, and where there are a few other reservations. But the powerful thing about the East End is that the Shinnecock Nation, many are mixed with Black, African, because the Shinnecock Nation sheltered those runaway slaves, people trying to escape. The Amistad boat, which if you haven't seen the movie, you need to see it. But that happened on the East End, okay? So that's what we have to be clear on. And that happened all over the country where, you know, natives on reservations sheltered and hid Africans, and the cultures were similar and balanced. So here we are, and we are still here. We're not going anywhere. We're still here. We stand strong, we stand firm. And in the death of an Ali Wisdom, that makes us stand even firmer, because we know what time it is, we know what we have to do, and we're prepared to do it. Us gathering today, we have to continue to gather, because they can't beat us all. This is the enemy and it's evil. Would anyone else like to share?
Yeah, I'd like to just
And
give
please identify yourself.
Yeah, my name is Harold Woolard. I'm an elder. I'm indigenous. And I just want to add that we people of indigenous people of African and Native American, we were both like enslaved in this country. A lot of people don't have the understanding that the slave ships never left America emptied. They enslaved a lot of Native Americans in this country as well. I mean, well before the Africans came here, and also enslaved the Africans along with the Native Americans. And so we men, as I said, I remember one morning waking up like around 3 o'clock in the morning, and I turned over to my wife and said to her, I'm walking through this world with two minds. And the reason why I'm saying two minds is because we have to deal with, whenever we step outside of our homes, we have to deal with this dominant society here that constantly actually turn against us, or want to ignore us, and want to treat us like we're not humans or like men. And so as a veteran, I wear my veterans, you see I have the Navy cover on, I wear my veterans insignias all the time. And these people walk by me and just look at me like I'm not even alive, or I'm lower than the dirt. Well, dirt is good, so I shouldn't even say that. But the thing is that they look at me as that I don't even exist. And so I understand that Shinnecock people, I'm not Shinnecock myself, but the Shinnecock people have always treated me with respect and always open their hearts and their minds to me whenever I were with them. I can never say one thing that is not good about the Shinnecock people. I love the Shinnecock people, and I think that the Shinnecock people are very honorable people. And what's happening to the Shinnecock people, to the Shinnecock youth, I think it is like, it's such an evil thing that's being perpetrated against them and to all of our youth, all of our indigenous youth in this country, that they're being perpetrated. There's like this evil drugs and alcohol are being perpetrated against them. And so I as a warrior and a veteran, I continue to fight the good fight. And I just pray that we continue to fight this battle against this wickedness that's being perpetrated against us, this evil that's being perpetrated against us as human beings. And I just pray that we continue to fight the good fight, and we will survive. We will live, because our ancestors are born in us and passed on to us the strength and the courage and the faith to continue to fight this good battle. And I want to thank you, Terri, for giving us the opportunity to actually speak on these things. And I'm hearing the man that spoke before me, that he spoke from the heart and he spoke as a warrior. And I truly respect him and what he has said. And Ali, he will continue to live within our tongues and our minds. And his spirit is strong, and he will carry on with us as we walk this path. I'm finished. Terri, you're muted.
You're muted, Terri.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm Terri Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News. And this is one of the most important shows that we're doing. And it obviously happened to me. I've joined the club, and there's a club, Mothers of Angels. And I am now a part of that club. Here in Harlem, we have mothers, who have lost their children. So Jackie wrote, there's a lot going on, and there are a lot of similarities. And my son lived in both those worlds. He lived in the world here in Harlem. He lived in the world of Sag Harbor, which our community really was started, by Black people who came out there. And once one Black person bought, no other white people bought. So we're multifaceted people. Our family comes from North Carolina, Cherokee Nation, so we are multifaceted nations and of people. We're a mixture of people, and we walk with all of our ancestors. And this world has really, with systemic racism, just done everything they could to destroy us. So what Brother Terri said is very profound, what that struggle is for a Black man in America. Right now, as we speak, there's a trial going on for the young Black man who was jogging, and they ran him down and shot him down. And a judge just ruled that Black ministers can't come to support the family. You know what I'm saying? So this is the world that we live in. And we have really got to, stand strong. So my son's life is not in vain. And this happening has to make us all really just stand up and come together. And not that we have not been coming together and fighting this fight every single day of our life. I've been fighting it since my son went to daycare, and the people asked me, what do you want us to do with him? And I said, I want you to teach him like the rest of the children. So this is the kind of thing just coming out of the womb that particularly a Black male is facing. The young women are facing it as well. And, this is not a crime that just happened to me or to my son. This is a global crime, and it's impacting our youth. It has them fearful. You know, here in Harlem and in New York City, you know, there are some children that are bringing guns to school because they're scared somebody else. And the thing of it is, how all these guns getting into our community? You know what I'm saying? We're not benefiting from them. It's an easy thing. And it's also become an issue of morality, like moral fabric has been lost. You know, life is meaningless, and, you know, snitches get stitches, so nobody's gonna say anything, but it's become like the new norm. And there's a lack of morality, you know, it's just a lot. And as elders, we gotta stand up. We gotta fight this. You know, it's a spiritual war as well as a physical war. And the sad thing is when our young people may be having trouble, there's not a lot of places to look to. Incarceration does not help anybody. It makes people worse. They're being treated like animals. And the people who work in the you know, prisons and so on, they're, you know, usually Black and brown people, and they're being treated like animals too. You know, so it's just a systemic situation of racism. It has an economic base, and it has you know, a cultural base, a self-esteem base, and here we are. So Viola, maybe you want to share, or anybody else can share, just about the morality. And then of course, we can go to Diashua, who can talk about some of the constructive things that she's doing with the youth and the Boys and Girls Club. And then we will begin to have some closure. But I'm very grateful that I was able to do this show. And like I said, I can't even have time to grieve as a Black woman because I got to stand up. I'm in the war, and the bullets are still coming in many ways. So thank you. Viola?
Thank you, Terry. Viola Cause, Shinnecock Indian Nation. And to think about morale, I think, you know, I was very disgusted bringing it back to the South Hampton press and even Channel 12 News, who got it 100% incorrect, any part of this story. On Channel 12 News, they talked about a female who was gunned down in gun violence. I mean, that's 100% incorrect. The Southampton Press, when I read it, the picture that they paint of our young people, the picture that they paint, the media, the news in this country, instead of looking at that person like they are a human being, like they are a person of importance, like they matter, they immediately demoralize and demean people of ethnicities. Immediately. A young teenage boy gets shot in the streets of Harlem, and he's immediately got to be connected to something. I've read that numerous times in the papers. Same thing with young females. Because when the news media puts it out there, they immediately put out the negative. Now these people, these folks, Ali, all of these things that Ali has done in his life, the good stuff that makes the person who they really are. But instead, the focus is all of the negative. And that is an everyday battle. That is an everyday living and non-living battle. The way they like to paint the picture and generalize takes away from our culture. And then they teach it as though it is some form of actual history in a classroom. and they paint this picture of our communities, of our people, as though we're not even people at all. I've literally had somebody who has lived in this town their entire life and say to me, I didn't even know Indians were here.
Whoa.
I'm saying you live on stolen territory. But if I can take away from that for a minute, because this earth belongs to all of us, right? It's gifted to all of us that are born in it, born on it. And we all serve purpose. And if we didn't teach these things to the young minds at a very early age, these systems that Terri is talking about, I mean, my own son, just for a moment, to give a feel to the people out there, my own son, if they don't already know, my own son was graduating from high school and was told he would be nothing more than a stock clerk. He's way more than a stock clerk. But that took him down so far. He can't get past that. 10 years later, he can't get past that. It's hurtful what these systems do to our young minds, and how we have to stand up and fight that all the time consistently. The schools in the cities, I'm aware. I don't go there, but I am aware. Fear, instead of love, is instilled. If you instill love and you teach love, then maybe your end result might be more love. But you're instilling fear into the students, fear into the teachers. Kids are bringing guns. Teachers are shooting kids because they're fearful of the students. You're creating a fearful cycle. That system doesn't work. It has never worked in any tribal community, any culture that is based off of natural ways of living and understanding, natural ways of communing with each other. Spirit, mind, physical self. That needs to be more of the focus. Love, creator, these things need to be put back into the school system. Instead, we teach destruction and division.
Okay, well, thank you, Viola. Well said. I'm Terri Wisdom.
I want to tag on something.
Yes,
important.
go right ahead and
I
identify.
apologize. I'm kind of in the car. I gotta go to the grind and
Yeah, it's
pay the
okay.
bills, but
Yeah.
I'm good. But first of all, I want to thank you for being a true mom. And I mean, you know, you're my older sister. The older sisters are a pain in the ass, but I love you with all my heart. You know the deal. You say something 89 times, Terri, I got it. Okay, I'm just making sure.
I'm a micromanager. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, man, it's all good. But you got to understand something that's really important is that, you know, this young man who, I mean, I was out of everybody on this call, including Terri, you know, I had a different type of relationship with my nephew. It had a lot to do with I energize them all the time to persevere, energize them all the time to, you know, be proud of your heritage no matter what. And I energize them all the time to stand up and hold your ground. And, you know, he told me,
I think we lost you, Wayne. Okay. Yeah. I think you're going through a dead zone. Try to speak again. You're coming in and out. This is Harlem Network News. And this is Wayne Duncan, my brother, the uncle, the blood uncle of Ali Wisdom. Wayne, can you speak?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go
Yeah,
right ahead.
so what I want to say is that, okay, so like Terrell Terry's on the line, right? So Terrell Terry, I mentored him ever since he was 5. Like I said, yo, this is gonna be my nephew for life. And the wild thing is, Terrell Terry, I mean, Ali looked up to him, see, because Terry was older. And always looked at him as this amazing warrior on the res that held his ground. So it's kind of like we pass on that valuable love because, you know, men don't even say I love you. I mean, Ali, the last thing he said to me was, yo, Unc, I love you with all my heart. And he gave me this big bear hug, right? I said, man, give me another one of them hugs. So he gave me another one. And he just looked at me. And I said, man, you smelling good. You're looking right. Yo, you know, I always smell good, Unc. You know me. So he was just upbeat on that Friday, but it was like, it was so profound for me because he was just like, he was recognizing me, just let me know, like, yo, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And that's who he was. And he had this passion for people on the res where he was the protector. You know, like he saved people from gun violence. He lived in Harlem, and 2 cousins were in a car one day and they were getting ready to shoot each other. He just took the weapon and disarmed it, threw it out the window. I said, you crazy, man. Like, look, why y'all are cousins? You stupid. You know, he was that guy. And I just want you to understand that because it's painful for me, but I'm telling y'all, like the spirit, like there's no joke. I'm telling y'all, there's been love all over Indian. I'm talking about all over Indian country. We was at a powwow yesterday up in Connecticut. People from Onondaga, people from Mashpee, people from Pequot. They kept bringing me gifts and hugging me and saying, we got your back, whatever you need. So even a native brother from the La Hacienda restaurant who's Mexican Indian, and me and him are brothers, he called me today, man. He said, Wayne, he said, you just tell me how many people are going to be at the repast, and we're making the food and bringing it to you for free. Just tell me how people come. That's that love, but that's the warriorship. That's that real down-home warriorship. These are my brothers who are just real warriors, real brothers. And like Terrell Terry, that's my nephew too, but he's real about life. He's trying, man. He's going through it. He's been through hell and back, but you know what? He's standing. And the thing I'm gonna share with y'all is that his son, Liam, you know, that's what brought him to the powwow. He was knocked out, but when he saw me, he brightened up, man. He put this big smile on his face, and he gave me his high five. Like, you know, he was so glad to see me. And that medicine just made me so strong yesterday. This little man with this beautiful smile, and he's just full of life. You know, he just touched me like that. And that's that spirit. You know what? That's the real spirit. And Ali, he is gonna his like I already said, man. I'm saying Cherokee wisdom, and I'm gonna make this wolf plaque. I don't know where I'm gonna put it, man, but I'm gonna make it. And it's gonna say Cherokee wisdom because that's who he was, man. He was this guy that just, you know, he's talented, man. He hung out with the Black Panther actor. They were friends. They did 2 short plays together. And the dude was missing Ali. And he reached out like, you know, he wanted to see him before he died. And, you know, battling that cancer. But this is who Ali was. He was bigger than life. You know, we had the Turtle Powwow. And then we were going to Grand Entry. And Donna and all the moms, they forgot to put the shorts in the bags for Ali, Noel, and Knight. So they told him to go out there in the arena in their tighty whitey underwear, right? So the kids were dragging on him. And Ali stopped the whole Grand Entry, like, you ain't gonna drag on us. We're natives, and we're gonna see y'all later. And like we had to go to the Grand Entry and restart it because the kids were gonna come in first. And Ali held up the whole entire Grand Entry because he was protecting his cousin, Noel and Knight, and I forget who else was with him. But that's who he was. And he was really funny. Have you ever sat down and listened to any of his stories? You know, I don't know if he got it from Terrell Terry or not, but because Terry can tell some good ones too. You know, but you really listen to it. And that's who he was. He was a great storyteller. And I have a great Uncle Ed who was my mother's uncle. He was a Cherokee warrior, man. He was no joke. And I always think Ali when I think Uncle Ed because he had the same frame. So I don't want to share that. You know, I'm a little emotional. Thanks for letting me share it, Terry.
Yeah, thank you all so much. And as you can see, you know, holding space is the picture of me and my incredible son. And it's just interesting when I look in this picture, I see my eyes and I see his eyes. And the last time I saw him, I looked in his eyes and I saw my eyes. So we're still here. So this has really been just an amazing prelude to the homegoing for my son, Ali Wisdom. And because we're here on Zoom and Facebook, and this will be up on YouTube as well, this is Harlem Network News, but it's really an opportunity to share, to bring all of the worlds together. And we will be celebrating the life of my son, Ali Wisdom, and befittingly, we will be celebrating here in Harlem on Friday the 19th at Benta's funeral home, right across the street from Harlem School of the Arts, where many of you may not know, Ali was a master violinist. He played in an orchestra. He had vibrato. He played since he was 6, master drummer. So befittingly, it'll be right at Benta's, and Benta's is run by some of his classmates that he went to elementary school with, the Benta family. Jason and Whitney were very grateful, and Mom Dorrance for holding the wake. It'll be from 5 o'clock to 7:30, you know, making sure we're out of there by 8, and we're gonna salute him and bring him home to Harlem one more time. And then on Saturday, we will funeralize him at the First Bridgehampton Church. And Reverend Mike from the Shinnecock Presbyterian Church will eulogize him and work collectively with the pastor of the church, and that is Reverend Tisha Williams. And then his final resting place, the funeral, the viewing will be from 10 to 12, and the funeral will be 12. And then the final resting place will be in the Sag Harbor Cemetery, where his aunt and uncle and many other neighbors, and it's just befitting that he will be able to rest, though we know he has ascended right there in Sag Harbor. And then after the burial, we will return to the Bridgehampton First Baptist Church and have a repast. And of course, this is us. So, you know, we're coming with the culture. That's the only way we roll. And we're coming with the love. And I want to thank everyone who has called me. There are people calling from Ohio, like Ali was my best friend, and, you know, people calling from Howard University. And we are still pulling a lot of things together, but I'm going to write my son's epitaph. It's not going to be South Hampton Press. And I do want to say that my son went through a lot of challenges, but at the end of his life, he had come to be with loving family, and that's us. And my brother received him, welcomed him, and he was working, okay? And he was no, you know, person who couldn't work, okay? He worked anywhere, was working at Schiavone's, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't feeling like I can't work nowhere. He worked, okay? He also was working on his music, had been to the studio. He's working on his Broadway album, Columbo The Shining Star. He had done many, many things. He could read and write music. He was at Howard University Fine Arts School. He was a close classmate with Chadwick Boseman and a close friend. And one of the first opportunities that Chadwick Boseman had in New York City, he was opening, doing spoken word for Ali, and Ali was paying him $50 a day to make it happen. That's who my son was, okay? That's the real Ali Wisdom. That's the real shining star. You know, another classmate of his, Eamon Joseph, is right now on, and I know I'm gonna get it wrong, it's not Snowflake, but whatever the show is, he's the uncle. You know, so I'm just saying, he was a big person. He had many lives. He did much. He went to Harlem School of the Arts. He was a star pitcher for the Harlem Little League. You know what I'm saying? He played basketball. He did a lot. Huge person. Okay. So let's be clear that that's his epitaph, not anything y'all are writing about that you don't know. Okay. And of course, I've already reached out to you, say, don't do it. Okay. You have the wrong people, wrong person, wrong family. So we will be working to develop a scholarship for him at his alma mater, Howard University, for the Fine Arts School. And it'll be a scholarship for children or students that are struggling, not for the straight A students, but for those that are struggling because they need the help the most. So with that, if anyone would like a closing words or a closing prayer, I know that my brother is off the line now, but I'm very glad to have been able to do.
I'm on the line. I'm still here.
Okay. So let's get that closing prayer going. And I just want to salute and ask for all the prayers for our family. Ali has a son who is 18, and this is a lot for him. He is also a student at his father's alma mater, Howard University. He's got a niece who's a freshman, got a niece who's a senior at Howard University. Okay, so let's not get it twisted. You know, his sister is a graduate of Howard University. We support our own. If we spending our money, we spending it with our universities. So let's make that happen. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. Okay. And Ali is having in his transition, he's resting in power and he's directing from above. And he's bringing a lot of people together. You know, that's what that's about. You know, you're survived by a father, aunt, uncle, grandma, great grandmother, great aunts, stepfathers. Everybody is coming together for this brother because that's who he was. Okay, he had a lot of duality, but he was the best of the best, and he was loyal. So Wayne, take us out in prayer. And thank you, everyone who is listening. And let this be the lesson. Let us stand. I got this. Thank you.
All right. So I'm gonna walk as I'm walking. I gotta walk and punch the clock first. So that's all good.
That's okay.
Well, he was about being on the job, and so was I. Matter of fact, he felt bad the other morning because we stayed up late, and I was late for work. He came to apologize. We talked till like 4 a.m. and a whole lot of stuff going on, but it is what it is. So let me just punch in here. And then just remember this, and this is really important, is that, we are in this life. Everybody's significant. And, what we do on a daily basis is extremely important. Just, you gotta love each other. It's the most important thing. Hold on one second. Gotta punch the clock on the job. And I'm gonna close with a prayer in the language, but I'm not gonna do the Thanksgiving prayer. I'm gonna give us a turkey prayer in the language that's directed towards this powerful man. So, Wanela Nuki, Aya Ada, Atayo Hiha, Asteri Ha, Ayan, Adalistia, Ali Heligan, Osta Ali, Osta Askaya, Wado Askaya, Odalistia Uwodahi Askaya, Ulinigida Osta Nokwati, Wado, Wanela Nuki, Gonk no E, Gunga you, Ostia, dot ne, Wado. So basically what I just did, I said that we are praying and asking the Creator for help. We're grateful for Ali, who is a beautiful, strong man, powerful, good Osta, Nokwoti, good medicine. And we thank the Creator. And then I said Gunga you, which is love. So Usiana dot name, all my relations. And then I ended thanking everybody 7 times. So that's straight to the point. I love all y'all. And we're gonna go ahead and do what we gotta do. I want to tell y'all that in Indian country, he is not forgotten, man. Like I'm telling you, like at least 25 people up there came over to the drum, gave me some hugs, and but Mixer Sean really got tore up. He was upset. He was because Ali was his Cherokee warrior that lived in Harlem. Mixer Sean is a versatile musician too, and they had a lot in common. So he was up there, but we sang strong. Like we had the old young blood singers with the new young blood singers yesterday. We went to the power. We didn't even have a drum. We didn't have no drum. All I had was tobacco in my pocket. We wasn't coming there to sing, but they had a spot for us. They set us up. So it was cool. I just want y'all to know that. I love all y'all.
Thank you, Wayne. Such a blessing. There's somebody that wanted to speak. I can't see the name. I think they're on a Galaxy phone. If you want to speak, you can unmute yourself, and then we will close out. This is Harlem Network News, and this has been our most powerful show, honoring my son, Ali Wisdom, Columbo The Shining Star from Harlem and Sag Harbor, and family and friends at Shinnecock Nation. Thank you for speaking, Shinnecock Nation, and it's also allowing people to know that you're still here. So thank you. They're in South Hampton. They're doing a powwow and a lot of other cultural events. Did anybody else want to speak? Okay, I think so. It's been a great day here in Harlem. It's a great day on Shinnecock, and it's just been a total blessing. Joshua, did you want to take us out with anything? And Joshua runs the Boys and Girls Club on Shinnecock. If you'd like to just say a few closing words.
Sure, I'll say something. Joshua Sylvester. I didn't know Ali personally, but what I do know is that this was a tragedy, and this should never ever happen again. And if we stand together and we speak out against the injustices that have been done to us, that have continued to be done to us, and work together and learn how to love each other, amazing things will happen.
Okay. Well, I thank you, and I know this is Terri Wisdom, and I'm Harlem Network News, and as you can see, the love and connection between my son and I, and family, and he represented much. He was a big person, and I just feel that with his death, with his transition, this is the time of change. And I'm not happy to belong to this club. I've gone over many things. What else? What could I have done? And I do have to say that I did my best. And my best may not have been good enough, but I know that I did my best. And I know that he knows that. And we just have to live on. We have to live on in his legacy, and we plan to complete his music, his projects, everything that had going. Shared it with us, and we will make sure that it gets done, and we will make sure that his son and his nieces and his know who their uncle was. So it's a blessing, and thank you. And, I'm glad that we were all able to come together.
Yep.
Okay, so have a blessed and prosperous evening. This is Harlem Network News, and please support us, watch us, share the links, donate to us if you can financially, or if there are stories and things that happen and you know what the truth is, please. We also have a newsletter. Sign up with us. You can go to Harlem Network News at gmail.com and join our mailing list. But it's an honor, and I thank everyone who has taken time out of their day to come join us, share, and understand the importance of community and connection. So I thank you, and in the African way, ashe, 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 And, you know, I know my brother would say Dona Day, which is thank you in church. So blessings all. And I appreciate you. And stand firm and join us for the celebration of life of my son at Benter's funeral parlor, the wake, this Friday, 5 o'clock. And then we will be at the First Baptist Church of Bridgehampton to funeralize him, viewing from 10 to 12, 12 noon. We will do the funeral, and we will be at Oakland Cemetery in Sag Harbor about 2:30, and then back for the repast. So we're still here. Thank you, and blessings. Thank you.